What the hell happened to Aurora?
Crime and immigration do not go hand in hand.
I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered. Explain that to your governor. He doesn't have a clue.
We hope that we can turn a lemon into lemonade and really show how incredible Aurora is in the national limelight.
These are stone cold killers. You could be walking down the street with your husband, you'll both be dead.
He is trying to prey on the most base fears of Americans.
What are they doing to Colorado? They're ruining your state.
He's called Aurora and Colorado a war zone.
My love for this area is because of the diversity.
These words, these lies have real consequences. This is not victimless.
No todos somos iguales. Por un grupo siempre tenemos que pagar todos.
Well, thank you for joining us for Denver 7 News at 6 tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Jacqueline Allen. Former President Donald Trump hosting a rally at Gaylord Rockies Resort, announcing he will create a federal program to remove undocumented gang members and call it Operation Aurora. Shannon, you are out in Aurora tonight to show us a broader view of that city.
That's right, Jacqueline. I'm out here because we want to show you a more accurate picture of Aurora. Yes, Aurora has trouble spots as well, like any city. But it's not a war zone. It's a lovely, diverse city where people work and play and learn and thrive and eat. People are dining all around me here. I'm at the Stanley Marketplace. It's a collection of 50+ independently owned Colorado businesses. There's retail and food, communal spaces, and it really leans into the diversity of Aurora. And this place is thriving. It's already hopping at this hour on a Friday night. I bring my daughter here for all the big holidays because they decorate so great. And it's also just 1 mile from those troubled apartments at the center of Trump's claims of the Venezuelan gang takeover. And as you can see here, this is not a war zone. And we have team coverage of Trump's rally today and the subsequent events. Denver 7's Christian Lopez at the edge of Lowry Apartments. That's an area Trump called a war zone.
From today's rally. Brandon.
Applause when he walked out on stage this afternoon. It was deafening, sort of what you would expect a crowd to sound like if their favorite sports team won a championship. That's how excited those thousands of people inside the hall were when the former president walked out, and he wasted no time going after Democrats, including Vice President Kamala Harris and Colorado Governor Jared Polis, blaming them for Venezuelan gang members even being in Aurora in the first place.
We will send elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country.
Now, Aurora Mayor Mike Hoffman says concerns about gang activity in his city have been grossly exaggerated, but that did not stop the former president. He used the rally to make a major announcement. He said if elected, he would use part of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to carry out a mass deportation of immigrants who are gang members, and said he would call it Operation Aurora.
I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been conquered. Explain that to your governor. He doesn't have a clue. They've been conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them out of our country, and we will be very, very effective in doing it. It's going to happen very, very fast. We're going to get them the hell out of our country.
And going back to Operation Aurora, still many questions about how exactly this would work and what it would look like. Many questions also about how much something like this would even cost. But you saw earlier that the crowd who attended the rally, they really loved it. And a Scripps poll taken last month found that a majority of Americans, 54%, said they would support a policy of mass deportation. Again, that is one thing that Donald Trump likes to talk about, immigration issues. And again, that's why he came here to Aurora and made that major announcement. In Aurora, Brandon Richard, Denver 7.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Now, Aurora's Republican mayor, Mike Kaufman, responded to Trump's visit. This is a quote. There were thousands of people who attended the rally who were able to see firsthand the mischaracterizations of our great community. Kaufman says, I'm disappointed that the former president did not get to experience more of the city for himself. Now, Trump repeatedly referenced this video today. This, he said, was evidence of a gang takeover. Now, it shows armed men inside an Aurora apartment complex. Now, this is very important here. Police identified all 6 men in that video and say none of them were tied to gangs. Now, advocates spoke out at that apartment building today following Trump's rally. They say the people who live there, they just want better lives, and that it's not at all what's being portrayed by Trump.
Former President Trump has tried to divide our communities, paint immigrants as criminals. But if you look around this block, this is a quiet community street here in Aurora.
Trump continues to use those apartments to amplify immigration fears, while tenants and advocates have been calling for accountability over the poor living conditions there. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live at that apartment. That's the edge of Lowry. You're just about 1.3 miles south of me, Christian, and some you spoke to, they speculated among the neighbors perhaps whether Trump would stop by there today.
Yeah, they weren't sure, especially because this building is only about 8 miles from where the Trump rally was. Now, some immigrants I talked to who live here said they would have liked the former president to come see the area for himself.
Todo está súper tranquilo, como te acabo de decir, pues ya los niños salen en las tardes, salen a jugar con sus familiares.
Luis Ramirez has been living at the edge of Lowry Apartments in Aurora for over a year. The complex that has been at the center of national controversy surrounding Venezuelan gangs.
Sí, hay niños, mujeres, de todo.
Claims that Venezuelan immigrants are violently taking over buildings like this one and the entire city of Aurora continued to be a main talking point Friday during Donald Trump's rally at the Gaylord Rockies. Despite being less than 10 miles away, Trump didn't stop by the neighborhood to see any of it for himself.
Es importante también como que él venga también a mirar por su misma cuenta lo que está sucediendo realmente aquí en Aurora.
Creo que debería investigar bien si hay crímenes y eso.
Jose Rojas says he felt he needed to speak up against all of the negativity during Friday's rally that he believes targeted all Venezuelans who are in Aurora.
No muy bien porque no todas las personas somos iguales. Siempre hay alguien que se porta mal, que es malo. Y por un grupo siempre tenemos que pagar todos y no todos somos iguales.
And as you guys mentioned, in response to the rally, community advocate groups held a press conference here at the building. They also held a barbecue for the neighborhood, which is still going on here behind me. We're live in Aurora this evening. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, Christian Lopez with an important voice in all this tonight. Christian, thank you very much. Jacqueline, back to you in the studio. And we'll
so
check
many
back in a
important perspectives. Thank you, Shannon. Denver 7 Investigates was fact-checking the rally, what's true and what isn't, to give some better context. Investigative reporter Natalie Chuck shares what stood out. Natalie?
Hey there, that's right, Jacqueline. Trump wasted very little time getting into the issue of Tren de Aragua operating here in Aurora. He used that phrase that we've heard over and over again, right? Saying they have taken over apartment complexes in Aurora, something not only state officials, but people living nearby have repeatedly said is just not true. About 10 minutes into former President Donald Trump's speech in Aurora on Friday afternoon, he brought up this situation while referring to Venezuelan gang members. This viral video was captured in August, just before a deadly shooting outside.
10 minutes later, they opened fire on a 25-year-old man outside the building, fatally shooting him. Of the barbaric thugs who have been identified, at least 3 are illegal aliens.
The thing is, no one has been arrested or charged yet for that shooting. Aurora police have said they believe the video and the shooting are connected, but no one in the video has been identified as a gang member by law enforcement. Their immigration status also has not been confirmed to Denver 7.
We are not by any means overwhelmed by that issue. We are not by any means overtaken by Venezuelan gangs, TDA, or any other gang.
Trump also saying if he is elected,
and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
That is part of the Alien and Sedition Acts, but it's something that's only enacted during a declared war, according to the National Archives. The president can basically call for deportation of immigrants considered a threat to the country. Since then, it's been enacted 3 times: the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. Trump also threw out this statistic about the 3 apartment complexes in Aurora that have been called into question.
80% of the residents are now living with their relatives in different states and other places. They've been forced out of their building. 20% of the residents stayed.
We do know one of those buildings was closed and tenants had to leave. But Denver 7 Investigates asked a city spokesperson about these numbers, and we were told they have, quote, no clue where they came from. We are inquiring with the Trump campaign and the building's owners about that statistic, but are waiting to hear back. The former president also spent a good amount of time calling out Colorado's governor. We'll break down what he said and the truth behind it coming up at 6:30.
Yeah, he had a lot to say about that. Thank you so much, Natalie. Look forward to hearing about it. And I just spoke tonight with the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, about Trump's repeated claims that the 2020 election was stolen and that if he doesn't win this election, he won't accept the results. Here's what she had to say.
Do you think he will have those same claims again about this election if he loses? And are you afraid that you could be targeted after the election?
Trump continues to lie. He started lying about the 2020 election before it even started last time. The election wasn't stolen from him. He lost. Elections have winners and losers, and America only works when people accept the results of free and fair elections. Donald Trump has already indicated that he will not accept the results of the 2024 election unless he wins. Again, that's un-American. It's undemocratic. It's not how elections work.
Griswold tells me Trump's statements have real consequences in Colorado, including threats to election workers here. She says she has personally received more than 1,000 death threats or violent threats just in the last year. We also heard from rally goers outside the Gaylord today. Supporters lined up outside the event space 9 hours before Trump took the stage.
I love Trump. He's awesome. I wanted to see him the last few times he's been around, and I haven't been able to.
Later at 6:30, why they say hearing Trump speak in person was worth it. We'll also hear from protesters about how they took the opportunity to get their message across. And in the meantime, you can head to the Denver7.com homepage and you can watch Trump's full remarks and stay up to date with our in-depth coverage around the former president's visit here.